So a very good morning to you, Chidi, and welcome
Yeah,
to Empowering Young Community Leaders 2021. We're gonna start our first interview session with you.
thank
So
you.
how are you feeling today before we start?
I'm feeling a little bit exhausted, but also excited. I've had like 4 days of constant, filming, with the Alibaba Foundation crew. So yeah, it's a little bit exhausting, but like I'm simultaneously excited as well.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Like we are also looking forward to hear your inspiring journey. And let's move forward for the interview. So we have gone through your profile and we have seen like you're an achiever and you have did a lot of things in your career. So we know that your entrepreneurial journey started at age 16. So could you please elaborate on that? That how did you feel like how, because not all young people are teenagers, like they think like that. So how was young Chidi at his early age?
Well, so I have an identical twin brother, and his name is Chika. And my story will not be complete without Chika in it. So Chika and I we have been so close, and we've always wanted to do something. When we were 13, we started to learn how to code. To write. To develop websites. And the interesting part about everything was that everything we learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We never thought about for one day that we're going to work for maybe Microsoft or Google. We always thought about creating our own company and watching it grow from nothing and just impacting the life of millions of people. And at the age of 16, my twin brother discovered a software called Game Maker. So it helps you to create video games, for Windows. So it's uses this sort of advanced basic language called GML, which is short for Game Maker language. And so my twin and I we started to learn, GML, and then within about I think about 2 weeks we learned it because it was an object-oriented programming language, and we had an understanding of what that kind of languages, how they work. And then we created a video game. And when we did that, we were so excited, and we published it and tried to make money out of it and get people to play it. That was our first entrepreneurial journey. But I always tell people that it was kind of a failure because we had over 300,000 plays, but we did not generate a single revenue from it. And I think that made us understand that something could be so in demand or but will not help will not generate money because you did not you failed to build the right business model around it. So my twin and I, we said to ourselves, okay, I think this was a good journey, but we need to discontinue creating video games and start doing something different. That was how we stopped the video game development company. I started another company called Lackbook. I don't know if you would want me to talk about Lackbook.
No, no, of course,
Yeah,
go,
so
please go through. Like LAGbook was interesting. Like it had like in 6 months, like I searched over it also, like it got like around 100,000 and something like that connections in it,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So Lackbook was it was a social network. We created it for students of the University of Lagos, which we attended. We studied physics at the University of Lagos. And so we created LAGbook as a social network strictly or exclusively for students of our university. We had about 30,000 students, sign up within 6 months. We got featured on TechCrunch. We were growing so fast. We had to expand, from the university to, to the Nigerian demographic because we needed to sustain the rapid the growth of the company or the social network. And within 3 years, we had 1 million registered users, and we got acquired by a Canadian tech company called Golfbro Limited. And I think that was the first success we had as entrepreneurs, my twin and I. And then we said to ourselves, maybe we should, we want to be serial, entrepreneurs. Maybe this is something that we can do. This might be something we might really enjoy, as people. So we started another company called Prehouse. We had about 200,000 users within 4 months. Most of them came from the United States. We got acquired by an American nonprofit organization called Tend of Charity. And I think that was like really exciting for us because we were about 24 years, we had sold two businesses. So we decided to, take a break from software entrepreneurship, tech entrepreneurship, and, try to explore other parts of ourselves. And I went into, professional writing, and my twin brother went into, music creation. That was when we discovered, the challenges experienced in the creative industry here in Africa. Then we decided to, come back together, regroup, and create a new tech company called Publiseer, which is our current company. And what we do at Publiseer is independent and underserved creatives, writers, musicians, filmmakers, video game developers. Our target mostly is in those from low-income communities and disadvantaged communities, often overlooked communities. We help these creatives to more focus on the creating process, and then we handle, the business, part of everything. We help them to transform their creativity into wealth or money for them. We've worked with about 7,000 creatives, and they come from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt. We've raised fund from Institute Francais, the Gothic Institute, and this has helped us to expand to French-speaking Africa. And so currently we are offering our product to Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo. And we've helped these creatives to generate about $300,000 in revenue for themselves. And yeah, and I think it's safe to say that we're the largest, independent digital publishing company, based, in Africa.
Oh, that's a quite a lot. That's a quite of achievement, Jerry. Like, oh, so you have gone through a lot of things like Ninja Boy, LAGbook, Pray House, Publisher. Then you forget, like, we haven't talked about the SARI fellowship yet, but yeah, you have achieved a lot
Yeah.
of things. So, like, if I ask you, like, what motivated you, like, as a teenager, like when you thought of to make a change or to drive things around you? So what motivated you in order to become an entrepreneur? Like, was there an ambition, or you have seen someone, like everyone is an idol, let's say Bill Gates or something like that, I want to become like this and that. So what motivated you?
Well, from my twin and I, what motivated us to be entrepreneurs is because we love seeing things, something small, grow into something big, and often bigger than ourselves. We love seeing things that we've created, just, impact the lives of people. We love when we create something, from the comfort of our bedrooms, or within the four walls, of our dorm rooms, and just have that thing, skill, and people, millions of people, thousands of people get to know about it, and, get to use it and love it. So that's what, we always love doing. I think also we love the word founder. We love being the founders of, things, like the people who designed or thought about, that amazing thing, rather than having to work for an organization. Yeah. So like I have worked for organizations before, and I remember the first work I kept, or the first job I got, I kept it for 30 days, and then I resigned. And then I tried, 2 years later again, to try getting another job and seeing if I would stay. But then I resigned after 11 days. And so I understood that I think what I love doing mostly is to create, is to, be the person behind, something interesting, something amazing, something that, scalable and, innovative. And I think that's what, drives my twin and I to become entrepreneurs, just watching what we do or what we've done, impact the lives of people.
That's quite good. That's quite good. That's a good, great motivation I have ever heard. So, like coming forward, like when you are motivated to do a change, and we all know that change is not an easy thing. It takes time. You have to be very persistent. So, any challenges you face in your entrepreneur journey you want to share with, like how you overcome that challenges? Because as you just said that on your first entrepreneur journey with Ninja Boy, like you weren't able to earn the revenue. So what went bad? What went wrong? And how did you overcome it in your next organization in Lackbook?
Yeah, so obviously, some people often think that I had an easy entrepreneurial journey, and because when they hear that I started as a teenager, they think maybe I come from a family of wealth, and so my parents were behind financed the business. But the truth is that I had to live my life the way every regular child would do it, and have to start businesses on lean budgets. I remember when my twin and I created Lackbook, we had about $10. This was like $10 to our name. And so we had to use the $10 to buy the domain name of the company, which is LAGbook.com. But then we started wondering how we're going to sustain the social network. So we understood very early enough that we needed to do two things. One is that we needed to run on ideas rather than money. And two is that we needed to reach out to people for help or support. We shouldn't be ashamed about that. So how we did that, for example, is we wanted to get people to sign up to Lackbook and get to Lackbook very popular, but we knew we didn't have the money to to run sponsored social media campaigns and stuff, or to run or to do some advertising. So what we did is that we went to campus and we asked ourselves questions like, back then, smartphones weren't rampant in Africa, and people often visited a public, cyber cafe to access the internet. And so we asked ourselves which were the popular ones on school campus, and we identified two. And we met the owners of these cyber cafes and asked them if there was a way in which they could make Lackbook.com the default homepage of every computers in their cyber cafe. So when people open the cyber, open these computers, Lackbook, instantly loads in front of them, and they get curious, what is this? But then they asked us a question, what are they going to get in return? And we said, okay, you guys are big cyber cafe, but you guys don't have a website. We are going to build the website for you guys for free. And they loved the idea, and so we exchanged services. And we did that, and we blew up in school very quickly. I remember there's another magazine in school called Sure You Know Now. So the magazine was read by almost everybody in school. So we had to approach the editor of the magazine and said, obviously we did the same thing we did the last time. Can you put us on your front page and let people get to know about Lackbook? And then we're going to build a website for your magazine, so people can also order your magazines from your website. And he loved the idea, and then we did it, and we had 30,000 students sign up to the platform without spending a single dollar. We just exchanged services. So that was how we did it. We always reached out to people that we felt that could help us along our journey, and find a way in which we can be of value to them as well, so that it becomes a mutual relationship between the two parties. And that has been very helpful for us along our journey. Even currently at Publiseer, in every business I've been able to achieve, even at Savvy, I often reach out for partnerships that I know will help or impact the growth of my organization, and then find a way of I could be of importance, of value to whoever is going to give me that opportunity, and so that it becomes a mutual beneficial relationship. So I think that has been the way we've been able to scale through as entrepreneurs. Although we've had our own challenges. I remember when we started Publiseer, and we did not have the sales that we thought we were going to have when we started the business. So things were not going as fast as we wanted. We were almost on the verge of shutting down the Publiseer because we felt that we were going to fail as a business. But then we took our time to rethink what we were doing, and decided to put more money into improving our value proposition. So instead of having to distribute content the way we received it, we spent so much money. We spent our personal money on making the content much better by improving the content, and then distributing it. And it worked for us, although it was a very risky decision, because it could actually have gone the opposite direction. But we decided to just put our entire heart into it. It's either you you go big or you go home. So yeah, we decided to, do it big here.
That was quite interesting. So like, if I can ask, so doing Publisher, like when you started Publisher, so you were empowering young writers, like who cannot publish their work or art through like big publication companies like that, and they will be earning some money. So it's a good motivation for them. So as a community leader, like I see you as a community leader there, and you have empowered those young creative minds, if I can put in that way. So how do you feel about it? Like those people, they would have been in touch with you. So how much inspired are they with you as an organization, as a platform you have provided them, and as a leader of them, like you are helping them to earn money as well as that they are using their creative mind and art and work. How does it feel?
Yes. It feels, I remember the first time my tutor and I started Publiseer. And I often, received emails and phone calls, of people saying so many amazing things. Some people tell you things like they never believed that their content could ever generate money for them, that they don't know that, they never felt it, or they can't achieve what they've achieved so far if we were not in the picture. And it made me feel good. And I just remember, that being the motivation to wake up in the morning and just keep doing what I do, even when the company was not yet profitable. I think that was more of my driving force, or my, it fueled my passion. Even I was even ready to do Publisher for the next 10 years, even if it didn't, wasn't profitable, because I loved the feedback I got. I love, making people's life better because, I existed in it. And so, yeah, I remember it vividly, like it was yesterday. And, right now, I don't receive these emails anymore because I no longer, I have people who receive emails for Publisher, but I still, still remember, it like it was yesterday. And when people, just how you, change people's lives because, you existed in it. Same thing with Savvy. I think for me, just knowing that, that people's lives can get better, especially those at the bottom of the pyramid, that their lives can get better because, you did something, selfless for, for a change. To me, that is way what more than, money or any amount of money you can get. I often tell people that you are successful as the people around you. If you have so much money, but then the people around you are suffering, you're not successful. The only time you can say to yourself that I'm successful is when, you achieved something great, but then you helped people around you achieve similar results or even more result than you did. That's when you are really successful. That's my own definition of success as a person. And, being able to, transform the lives of thousands, of people, with what I do has been, more of my driving force and my motivation, so far.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So if I can ask another thing, so like we followed your social media as well, and I see like you post daily, like weekly, something related to the entrepreneurship to motivate other entrepreneurs. So what made you think to start that thing? Like I have become a successful entrepreneur now, so let helps other people as well. So that's a great great kind of you, like because it's a humanitarian thing, like help other people to grow since you have already grown. So what made you think of it, like the idea to start sending messages to youngsters like who are following you?
Yeah, for me, so there's so many statistics about entrepreneurship, and these statistics are really bad. For example, 1 out of every 10 entrepreneur, succeeds. That means that 9 persons fail. So this means that 90% of people who are starting businesses today are going to fail in the next 5 years. It's a very painful statistics to actually see. And I said to myself, if this 10% of people who became successful can, share their experiences with the 90% that weren't successful, maybe we might have more people in the 90% move over, to the successful, spectrum, So I said, I've been lucky enough to be part of, the successful ones. Why don't I share my experiences, the bitter, the good, the ugly, and the amazing ones, with these people. let them know what worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. And maybe, it can aid them to become successful entrepreneurs like me as well. Because I always believe that the sky is way too big for everybody to fly. My success does not affect anybody's success, and their success doesn't affect mine. We can all be successful. We can all build the Africa or the world that we want to see. And like I said, you're only successful when you make other people around you successful as well. And so I said to myself, I want to share my knowledge for free. I want people to get to learn, not from a textbook, but from somebody, but through a practical means, from somebody who has actually walked the work. I don't like sharing things, that will make people feel comfortable. If you read what I share sometimes, I sometimes share things that might be really brutal, but very honest. I let them know that they are going to fail a number of times, but it doesn't matter how many times you fail, the world is going to forget every failure you've ever experienced, as long as you get it right once. You just need to get it right once. And so I just try as much as possible to share the journey with them, so that they can learn, they can understand what the future holds for them, and they can prevent some expensive mistakes along their entrepreneurial journey, and hopefully they become successful as I am, or even more successful than I am.
So shall we look forward for a book from Chidi Nwaogu, published by Publisher?
Yeah, I already have a book called Dear Entrepreneur as well. It's about 600 pages, and it talks about entrepreneurship and what you should expect along the journey, and how you can mitigate the challenges that you face, and how it's always important that you reach out to an ecosystem to help you to grow as an entrepreneur as well.
Oh, nice. So following that answer, so what are the things, like what are the skills that matters, like you would have mentioned in your book as well. So for our viewers, like would be watching this video. So what are the skills or qualities that matters to become a successful entrepreneur according to you?
For me, the most important one is passion. You must be passionate about whatever people think that passion is overrated, but it's not. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, you're going to get exhausted very quickly, because a business might look very beautiful on paper. You might write the business plan and it makes a lot of sense on paper, but then when you decide to execute it, so many things just doesn't work as you've planned. Only passion will keep you going, when everything seems not to be working. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you don't have love for what you're doing, you're going to quit on time. I have met so many people that started entrepreneurship for the wrong reason. They were not passionate about what they were doing, and within the first year or two, they quit because they didn't receive, things didn't work out the way they planned. They were not traveling around the world like Chidi. They were not receiving awards, and so they said, okay, I don't think I can do this anymore. I think I need to do something different. So you must be passionate about what you're doing. That means that you must be doing what you're doing for the right reasons. The second one is that you must be consistent. And consistency means that when you achieve something great, do not dwell on that glory, on them backs in the glory for too long. Some people, when they achieve a great result, they secure funding or they got an award, they feel a little bit, complacent, they relax and say, okay, I think I'm the greatest, I think I'm the best. And they don't put much effort into what they are doing, so they just fade away, become obscure memory. So what I believe a true entrepreneur should be able to do is, you must be consistent. This means that when you achieve something great, celebrate, but for not too long, and then ask yourself as a person, what's next? You should be constantly thinking about what's next on your list to do. How can you conquer the world? How can you improve the lives of people? Constantly asking yourself these questions and constantly working every day to become better, because you're in competition, with similar products, substitute products, and the moment you stop innovating, people are still innovating, and then they get better than you. So you must be constantly thinking of what's next and how can you get better. And the last one is that I think it's almost tied to the first one, but this one is that you shouldn't be a quitter. Now, obviously, always people say it's you should sometimes you should quit. But if you're the kind of person that tell yourself, I would never say I tried. I will keep trying until I get it done and I get it right. No matter how long it takes, no matter how many times I have to try, I will keep doing it as long as I learn from every mistake and failure I have. You're going to be very successful at what you do. Because I always tell people that the media, when you read about me or you look at me, from afar, I appear as a success because the only things you see about me are the success stories, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this. The truth is that I've failed more than I've actually succeeded. But my failures are not often publicized. Sometimes I have to do something 5 times to get it right. I raise funding for Savvy, or I raise funding for Publiseer. You never know how many people, behind closed doors said no to me. How many investors said, no, I'm not going to, fund you. I have, we've raised funding for Savvy twice, but I can tell you that I've received a no from about 4 persons, saying no to Savvy. Like, okay, no, we don't. I don't think we can give you funding at this moment. So if we've raised funding, from 2 investors, but got a no from 4 investors. Technically, that's a failure, when you look at it. But the truth is that in reality, nobody cares about the no's you get. They only care about the yeses, And so as long as you're the kind of person that says to yourself, I'll keep doing this thing, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many no's I get, no matter how many times I fail, as long as you understand that failure is success when you learn from it, I think you're going to be a great entrepreneur.
That's a very inspiring thing, like you have explained it pretty well, like what other things, especially about the failure part, because many people know just the success story, like just the grass looks green from the other side, so they think like he's successful now. But we all face some great failure, and then we stood up, then we rise, and then we become successful. That's a story. So thanks for mentioning the failure part as well for that. So like, let's coming to the end of the interview. So last thing I would like to ask, like any messages you want to give to the African or the global youth from your side?
Yeah, for me, the advice would be success is not a single act. Success is a combination of little acts, little deeds, continued, or repeated day in and day out. So some people think that to be successful, they need to do something amazing, something great, extraordinary. But that's not often the case. You can do something small, something good, not excellent, but something good, but keep repeating that thing over and over again, consistently doing it. And then one day you're successful. One day you're like so big. I remember when we started LAGbook, and we were growing very slowly, but we kept growing consistently. And at some point we became 1 million users. That's how long, it takes time. They say tiny drops of water make a big ocean. So don't be so pressured when you see people achieve so much, so extraordinary goals, and you're like, I haven't achieved something as like, this big. How can I be as successful as they are? You can be successful as they are if you can do, you keep doing your little arts, or what does your little good, commendable works, but you keep doing over and over again for as long as it takes. You can be as successful as that. So don't think that success is one single event. Success could be, little acts, little accomplishment, little milestones, achieved or done day in and day out over a period of time consistently.
Thank you, Chidi, for such an inspiring message. And thank you for joining us today. Like, I really appreciate it and really enjoyed your inspiring change-making story. And I really believe that many youth will get inspired from your journey and the message, and maybe they will get in touch with you for the message and all that stuff, like if they need any help. So thank you so much for your time. So I'm just
Thank
gonna
you.
stop the recording the meeting.